Welcome to Adventures in Life. I'm Earl Beecher, your host. I'm particularly delighted to have today as our guest Dottie Walters. She has one of the greatest success stories I have ever heard, and Dottie's been a friend of mine for many years, and I've been anxious to do this show with you. Dottie, would you mind telling our viewers your story? How you got started, and then what you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Earl. Well, we were in Baldwin Park, and we bought one of the first tract houses there at that time. It was all chicken ranching, and that's not too far from here.
What area of time are we talking about here?
Well, it was over 40 years ago.
Okay.
Yes. And so we bought a tract house, and we bought a little dry cleaning agency, and then there was a recession. And the first thing people stop in a recession is dry cleaning. They just sponge things off because they can't pay for the dry cleaning.
Right.
So we were going to lose the house and the car and the furniture, everything, 2 babies. They weren't going to take those back, but we were badly in debt, you know, for all that. And then my husband said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I thought, I'm not going to lose the house. I'm going to help him. So I thought, what can I do? In high school, Alhambra High School, I had written a shopper's column because I was advertising manager and feature editor of the Alhambra High Moor.
You're talking about the school paper?
Yes, the school paper.
Yes.
Yes, and so I thought I would write a shopper's column for Baldwin Park Bulletin, which is the little weekly paper there. I didn't have a typewriter. I didn't have any paper. And, you know, I read a lot. I don't have a college education, but I read a lot. And some of my friends of the mind are always there to help me. Albert Einstein said to me, he said, will you stop worrying about the problems and start thinking about solutions? So I borrowed a typewriter, and my neighbor gave me some papers. And the best gift I ever had was that ream of typing paper. And so I took the newspaper and wrote a sample column up. Then I had to get the old stroller out of the garage while my children had grown. They were all big kids, and it was made for one.
They were 2 and 3 years old, though.
Yeah, but they were too big for it. And so what was I going to do? And Albert said again, solutions. And I thought, all right, I'm going to make a second seat on the back. And I got the bed pillows and the clothesline rope and tied it on, and slung my purse over my shoulder with my typed column in it, and started out. And when I got to the Baldwin Park Bulletin office there in Ramona, there had a big sign, no help wanted. And my heart went plunk on the ground. And then my good friend Benjamin Franklin, friend of the mind, said to me, honey, he always calls me honey, he said, they don't have any money to hire anybody, so you won't get a salary. But if you will buy space from them at wholesale, and sell it at retail for your shopper's column, I promise you in 3 weeks you'll have the house payment.
Now, you went in there to apply for a job.
Yes.
And hadn't they just laid off their key people?
Yes, right. They didn't, and they weren't, no help wanted sign on the door.
I don't know if our viewers know how bad a recession can be, but there's just no work.
Earl, I had something magic in my purse. I had my Alhambra High press card from the
well, okay.
And I laid that on the counter, and I said, I'm a newspaper woman. And so they let me have a chance. They told me they thought they'd never see me again, but they didn't know how determined I was.
You went in there to get a job.
Yes.
And they weren't hiring.
That's right.
And you turned it around and said, oh, I'm not looking for a job.
That's right. I want to buy space.
I want to buy space in your paper.
Yes, I want to be your customer.
Oh, that put everything on a different twist.
Yes, it did. Yes, there's always opportunity. It's always located at hand. Look at the other side of the problem. It's probably hiding under there. Yeah, and then I said to the...
Well, now, how did you make a success out of that? So you bought space. How did you pay for it?
I went out and sold the ads to the merchants at full retail, and I made the difference. And in 3 weeks, I made the house payment. And then I ran out of cardboard for my shoes. And I didn't have another pair of shoes.
Oh, dear.
And I was carrying extra cardboard with me because that's a pretty rocky area over there, you know. So I thought, what am I going to do? And then I was looking at the front page of the paper, the bulletin, and it had all the service clubs, the you know, Rotary and Kiwanis and so forth.
Sure.
And it told who the officers were. They owned the stores in town, the people I was trying to sell advertising to. And lots of times they'd say, no, but he's not here, he's not here, he's not here. Couldn't find them in. I thought, that's where they are. They're at all those luncheons. And then I noticed each story said, and the speaker was, the speaker was, the speaker was. And of course then it came to me, I must be the speaker. I'll speak to a room full of prospects. You see?
Yes.
But what would the topic be? Well, you have to, if you're thinking of speaking, you need to say, what could I talk about? There's lots you could talk about. But I didn't know quite where to start, so I thought, well, who am I? I'm a housewife. I'm a customer. I buy groceries. See? So I buy from the merchants in town. So I gave myself a moniker, Dottie Walters, your customer. And my subject was, what does your customer want? Yeah. And so I called up these different service clubs, and they said, we'd love to have you. And I noticed they all said, we were glad to meet you. We didn't know you were our customer.
I hadn't thought it through.
Yes, yes. Well, I said, I am. I bought a new house here, and I am your customer.
Yes.
Even though I hadn't literally.
But you were speaking generically for
yes,
everybody,
yes,
so you had their attention.
Them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I did. And then I asked them all to give me their little business cards, and I gave them a copy of the newspaper in exchange with my column marked with green Crayola, green for go. and then I had a drawing at the end because they gave me their cards. And I explained, now you look over my column, and then I'll be giving you a call. This is at the end of talking about customer service. I'll call you on the phone because I'd love to have you there. Mm-hmm. And you know, Earl, the merchants of Baldwin Park helped me in ways that maybe they didn't realize. There was a big furniture store there, and the man was kind of gruff, and he always had his feet up on the desk and a cigar hanging out of his mouth, and never asked me to sit down ever. But I sold him one column ad, you know, a little story. I went back in to get another one, and he said, how come you didn't put me in the best spot at the top? I said, He said, I want it every time. How much extra are you going to charge me for that? So I said, maybe triple? He said, all right, here's a check. How many weeks are left in the year? He wrote out a check, and I went out and bought a used car. So what did he teach me? Sell position, sell continuity, right?
Right.
Sell an ongoing contract.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, as a housewife with a high school education,
Yes.
supporting the family, no special skills except having been on the school paper staff.
Mm-hmm.
You've made a career that I think is exemplary and exciting to any woman.
Well, there's lots you can do. You know, you think about women like Marie Callender.
Yes.
She made pies at home and sold them to restaurants for much better than they were getting from their suppliers.
Cornelia Knott.
Oh, yes.
A few others, yes.
There's so many of them that if you could go to the library and look up their life stories. Mrs. Field and her cookies. There's just lots and lots of them.
Yes.
What I did next, the merchants came to my house. And they said, you know, we've been watching you. And I thought, what did I do? And they said, you're always on time. You always keep your word. You really care about it, helping us to be successful. And I said, that's right, I do care. Mm-hmm. And they said, we want you to start your own business. And we're going to be your first advertisers. We want you to start a welcoming service. You've heard of Welcome Wagon. Well,
yes, of course.
So I called it Hospitality Hostess. And within 2 years, I had it all over Southern California, 4 offices, and 4,000 annual advertising contracts.
Within 2 years?
Yes, I did.
In the middle of a recession?
Yes, sir.
Tell me more.
Well, one of the things is I always believe in selling trades, because you've got to get some advertising in whatever it is so that then the ones who will have cash, see, and that gets life in it and gets it going. And so I did that.
Yes.
And I taught thousands of women to sell advertising because all those who were the hostesses sold the ads, and I taught them how.
In their own communities?
Yes, but they also could sell an ad that would cover all of Southern California or just this many towns. You know, they could sell whatever the merchant wanted. Yeah.
I want to pause for a public service announcement and then show how far you've come.
Okay.
So stay with us. We'll be right back with Dottie Walters. Our guest is Dottie Walters, successful lady. Dottie, you were speaking at the Kiwanis, the
Rotary.
Lions, all of these groups,
Yes, they're
the
luncheons.
Rotary,
Uh-huh.
all of these service clubs.
Uh-huh.
Were you speaking for free?
Yes, yes.
And what did you learn?
I learned how to reach merchants, and they were the ones that were going to buy ads from me. That's how I built the advertising business.
Yes.
But then one day out in Redlands, a man walked up to me afterwards and he said, "I'm Harold Harris of the Harris Department Stores." He said, "This was a great speech. What would you charge me to speak for my employees?" I said, not having any idea in the world of what to charge, I said, "What did you have in mind?" And he said, $50. I said, "How many stores did you say you have?" And he said, 4. And I said, "Each?"
Of course, yes.
And he went, "Smart girl, smart girl." You know, people don't want dumbbells. So when you have an idea, say it out. Don't be afraid to do that. Yes, and that was the beginning of my speaking, and I've now spoken all over the world. I wrote the first book in the world for women in sales because we were just starting out. Now we've surpassed the men, you know, in owning our own businesses and sales. Yeah.
Oh dear, sounds to me like we better get busy and get the men trained in here now. Tell me, you have a speakers bureau.
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
How does a person get started? The way you did, or can they come to you?
It's a good way. I didn't know I was doing a good way, but you've got to practice, and you've got to maybe hire a speech coach. That might be a drama teacher.
Who tells you how to dress, how to present yourself.
And how to get your voice placed so that it will be good, and then how to tell a story. There's never been a great speaker who wasn't a great storyteller.
True.
Always, yes.
True.
And as Socrates said, how do you define a great speaker? A great person who happens to speak well. See, so it's the character.
There has to be that communication.
Yes. And
okay. How many speakers do you handle?
We have, it is not a matter of handling them. They are listed with us and with other bureaus too.
Okay.
We have 24,000. And we have them all by topic. Some of them work in costume, characters from history and fiction. We've got Sherlock Holmes, and we've got all sorts of people. So whatever the theme of the meeting is, why, we can fill the bill.
Well, how many speaking opportunities are there?
Oh my goodness, it's just gigantic. Think of every big convention center with several conventions going on at one time, every big hotel, worldwide. And that's just part of it. Also, speakers are brought into businesses. So it's gigantic.
It's training, it's entertaining, it covers any...
Yes, science, tech, all sorts of things.
Now, how much would a person earn?
Well, the top speaker in the United States right now is earning $350,000 for 1 hour.
$350,000 an hour?
Yes, he usually just does 1 hour. That's his program.
And are you at liberty to tell us who that might be?
I am, because I'm so proud of him. He's so beloved in this country, and that's Bill Cosby, who started out with nothing. Nothing. See, he made comic albums about the kids in the streets in the slums where he was brought up.
Yes.
So he'd used what he had, you see, and used that talent.
What he had.
Yes. So whatever you're good at, whether it's making pies, making potato chips, whatever it is, why, think of using it.
What do you do to train people? Say some of our viewers are listening and saying, wait a minute, could I?
Yes, you could.
You know,
yes,
this kind
you have
of feeling.
to think of what subject you know something about. It might be training dogs. It might be arranging flowers. You know, there's something that you are good at. And then what you need to do is think of who needs that. Who would like to learn from that? That's why we wrote the book, Speak and Grow Rich.
Okay, here's a book. I have read this book. This is a new revised version.
Yes,
I've read the earlier version.
That's right.
But Speak and Grow
Rich.
Rich.
Yes. Not only in money, it's a great deal of money in it, but also in the idea of hearing from people that have been in that audience and they say, you changed my life. I was going to give up.
Oh, that must be very satisfying.
I get letters like this daily, from all over the world.
Okay.
Yes. So that's a wonderful thing. So whatever your subject is, whether it's teaching kids to read that never would have learned, or you know, a dentist who's sending dentists down into South America to people that never had a dentist.
Yes.
Yes, children die of infection by the time they're 5 years old because of it. So he's doing something about it.
And your speakers, you're involved with speakers who are doing all of these things.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we publish a magazine about it called Sharing Ideas. And that's Devin Harris, who's the wonderful, comes from Jamaica, of all places. And he was captain of the winning bobsled team in the snow.
And he's made a big career of
Talk
this.
about, yes.
A bobsled team in the snow in Jamaica.
No, there wasn't. It was in Jamaica,
Right, I know.
Yeah, but it just shows you the opportunity is always at hand.
And you
Always at
just
hand.
have to use your head and
Yes,
I notice you start with think.
yes. Think, yeah, and then learn to speak. And the speaking is fun because you're really taking people toward a point, and you're doing it by way of doing voices, characters, and teaching them something. Teaching them something.
So that the people come out with a feeling that their lives could be
And they will.
better by influencing other people
Yes,
and
when
sharing.
Marcus Aurelius of ancient Rome said, whatever the mind can conceive, that's see, and believe, you can achieve.
You can achieve.
You can achieve.
I have found, anytime I've had contact with you, I've come out of it saying, wow, you know,
Oh,
that
yes.
kind of a reaction, Dottie, and I think that maybe some of our viewers would have that.
I hope so, and they're welcome to call me. They can call you and get my number.
Yes, my number will appear at the end of the show, or Elizabeth Calder's,
Yes.
whoever's, probably mine, and if somebody calls me, I will be happy to refer them to
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Because there are so many opportunities around. Your story, starting literally from nothing.
That's right. But see, none of us have nothing. I think when God creates us, He gives us a whole pattern. It's right there in the palm of your hand. See, you've been programmed to do something. If you don't do it, you aren't giving back to the Creator, are you? Because you were meant to do that. Meant to
Right.
do it, yes.
If you had to pick a point in your career, was it when you got the idea to say to that newspaper editor, oh, I didn't come in for a job, I came in to buy space?
Yes.
Was that the turning point for you?
I think so, because when you're in trouble, you've got to be get up on your toes and be ready for the opportunity, because it's at hand. It's there someplace. Look for it. If you can't get in one door, open the other.
And that one opened the door.
Yes, it did.
And then it led to the speakers.
Yes, speaking for the service
And you
clubs.
have 24,000 speakers that
Yes,
you place.
every topic, every theme in the world.
And there are literally millions of speaking opportunities.
Oh, I should say.
And what, now you said what the top paid person got. What
Yeah.
does an average person
Well,
make?
our average person gets 10,000 for the 1 hour. That's just, but they might do 2 or 3 of those at one program. And then they might be on a panel, and then their books, they might have a big package of those, and then the client buys those for everybody in the audience. So there are, it's like wearing a suit. The talk is the suit, but the accessories bring it up quite a bit. So we might end up with a $30,000 contract for that speaker. And the Bureau works on straight commission. So when we book the speaker, we get a commission.
And you know where all of the events are
Yes.
are
Yes.
taking place, and you have an idea of the kind. For example, maybe there's a speaker for the main event, but they want a speaker for their wives or their
Or
mates
breakout session.
who are there.
Yes,
a breakout
sure.
session.
Yes, or maybe they have a theme and they want to have people learn to sail boats. They do that in San Diego a lot. They have conventions there and they have boat sailing going on too, you see. So it could be all sorts of things.
I remember being at your home one time, and you showed me some pictures of some of the big convention-type boats that were being built for the
Oh,
Caribbean that would
yes.
handle 7,000 people.
Oh, yes, yes, and the whole convention is on board. And then they sail it to another country, another continent, and of course they have big exhibits and they put on a show at the wharf. So the buyers come to buy the merchandise, you see.
And so you're booking speakers into those circumstances as
Yes,
well.
yes. If it's a cruise now, then that's done on a trade.
How many publishing houses do you own?
Oh, I just own my own.
Just the one?
Just one. But when
At
it
one
comes,
time, I think you owned 4.
well, business changes as things change around you, you know, and you're always trying to keep in step with what's going on. But I think I love most being able, when I'm talking, if you were putting on a convention, let me give you an example. One person said, we're having a theme of the old gold rush and gold miners. And I said, he said, we want people who can find gold in finding new prospects, see, prospecting. So I said, I've got several, but I've got a special idea. Let me get back to you. So I got to the man I thought would be the most suited, and I said, would you wear a Western costume? Would you look like an old gold miner? Could you go down to the thrift
like
shop?
Like a 49er from
Yes, yes, you know, kind of
Sutter's
tattered.
Mill.
Yes, and have a pick and all that. Could you do that and get your picture taken quick? And so he did it, sent it in, sent it to this prospective client. I said, here's your man. He's going to wear this on stage. And he's going to do some funny bits.
So it helps to dramatize it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You have to dramatize it and make it exciting.
Yes,
They say we have to pause for another public service announcement. So we'll do that now. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Dottie Walters. Our guest is Dottie Walters. I don't think I need to do much more. Most people have heard of you, Dottie. But what happened with this prospector idea that you were telling us?
Well, I took the picture and sent it off to the client, and I said, wouldn't it be great on the front of your program? You see? And he will wear this costume, but he's going to give, here's all the things he's going to teach them, but he's going to do it from the point of view of your theme. They were thrilled. And not only that, but the speaker called me the next day and he said, here's the private number of the big head of that company. Call him Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. He wants to book me for 25 more programs.
At 10,000 apiece?
It was more than that because we accessorized it.
Yes. What else do you have to share with our viewers? Because we don't have much more time.
Well, I'd like to say don't give up on your dream. But every disaster that happens is somebody's opportunity. Yes, we have speakers that you just wouldn't believe the different fields, what they've gone through. We have speakers that are blind, speakers that have only one leg or one arm, and yet they find an opportunity. My daughter...
disability isn't...
No.
Anything that should stop anybody.
No. What are you here for? To sit there and moan your whole life? No.
Okay.
No, no. Think what you can do that will help others. And then you can be a speaker, you can be a trainer, whatever it is you're able to do. But it's an exciting life. There's nothing like telling a story to a great big audience and see them get up to their feet and give you a standing ovation. And every speaker's thrilled with that.
Every audience has to be thrilled first.
Yes, yes, of course. That's right. And the way you do it is to visualize the story. You have to project it, just like the camera here. The speaker has to project that into the screen of the mind of the audience.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any tips for people who are just beginning?
Well, yes, you could do your speech by taking your hand and organizing it that way. Start with something light and funny. Always begin with something happy, then make 3 points of whatever your topic is and illustrate each with a good story that explains it.
Storytelling.
Yeah, repeat your point. See, this would be maybe a half-hour talk. And then at the end, tell your heart story. And that may be something from your own life or somebody else's life. It's a great story of somebody overcoming all obstacles.
Something with emotion behind it.
Yes, so you start with humor and with heart, H-H. Now, if they tell you, as they sometimes do, just when you're ready to walk on, would you mind cutting that a little?
Where have I heard that before?
Yes, and so all you do is this.
You cut out some of the middle points.
You just took one of them, see? And then start the same, end the same. You walk on with confidence. You know how you're going to close. And they just tell 2 of the stories. You could tell any 2 you want to tell. But it's simple to just leave one section out. But when you come to that, you say, I've got a lot more. I hope you'll invite me back. And now to close, and then you go into your close.
I see. So that there's always more on the plate that's available.
Oh, lots more. I teach people to always bring a written introduction and put in it this line. It would be Dottie Walters has graciously agreed to stay after the program to talk to those of you in the audience looking for a speaker for another occasion.
Sure.
So afterwards, they're all rushing me, giving me the card. They say, we want you, or we need another speaker. If you want another speaker, tell me what you want. I'll get to you right away tomorrow.
Tell me what you want.
Yes. Tell me what you're looking for.
This is the important thing.
I'll find what you're looking for.
And knowing you, you do.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Do a little searching until you find the right opportunity.
Yes.
Dottie, thank you so much for being our guest on Adventures in Life.
It's been a great pleasure.
I've been looking forward to this for quite a while.
Well, I've been looking forward to being here with you, and I hope I'll see you again and hear more about your news.
All right. And we want to thank our viewers for joining us, and please join us soon again for more adventures in life.